Hey everyone, welcome to another DVD and Blu-ray update video. This will also be sort of a book and CD update video where it's books that have CDs included. So yeah, you'll see, I'll show them now. So if you saw the video I made about the Captain Underpants series, that video seemed to do very well. People seem to really like it. And yeah, it's something that I really enjoyed talking about, honestly, because I loved the books growing up, and revisiting them now, I still really love them. I still think they're hilarious and very creative as well, actually. So in that video I showed the original versions of them, the original copies of the books that I've had since I was very young when I started reading them. But also I showed I had this collector's edition of the first book. It has this lenticular cover, and it also has a CD included. And I said they did these editions for the first 3 books, but I only had this one, which I've had this one for like over 10 years now, and I never got the others. So yeah, and the CDs include songs that are about Captain Underpants and stuff. And I used to love watching those, music videos. Yeah, they had the songs and the music videos on Dave Pilkey's website. I believe they're not on there anymore, but thankfully you can still get them on CD, and also you can still watch the videos on YouTube, so there's that. But after I made that video, I did get the second and third book in these collector's editions, which have the CDs included. As you can see there, also have these lenticular covers. So yeah, so I've decided to put the CDs in this CD wallet. Here's the first one, which has the ones that had animated music videos. Then this second one, and then the third one, which the second and third one of the ones, there were songs by Koji Matsumoto, and they had live action music videos, which they were good fun. Now I believe you can actually put these into your computer and it'll play music videos, and you can also play like flash games on them. So that's cool, because I also did like playing flash games on Dave Pilkey's website back in the day. But yeah, I did try these on my TV, and they don't really work. I do also have like the soundtrack for I have the soundtracks for both the first 2 Shrek movies. And Shrek 2, it actually says that it has a sneak peek for the movie, which I tried putting it in my TV and it didn't work. So I think it's more you put it in your computer and it'll play it. But the movie's been out for over 20 years now, so I don't need a sneak preview of it anyway. But yeah, maybe I might try putting these in my computer, and yeah, I'll get the music videos and yeah, maybe the games as well. But as I said, the music videos are also still available on YouTube. So yeah. So in terms of these collector's editions, I only really had this one as a kid. I kind of wish I had all 3 of them, because I would have loved to have all 3 of these discs. But I did still grow up watching these music videos on Dave Pilkey's website, so there's that. And I'm also glad these are like the original black and white versions. There's more recent editions, they colour them in. But I prefer like these versions that are in black and white. That's what I grew up with. And always as a kid, I found it kind of cool how you only get the colours on the front cover, and if they have pictures on the back like that, but the actual insides are black and white. But if younger generations prefer it coloured in, like, that's fine. It's just I prefer this sort of thing. I think also the paper seems to be made of something else, which might make it a bit more less likely to rip when you're doing the flipperama, which was something they had in these Captain Underpants books I talked about in that video I made about it. But yeah, when I started reading them when I was a little kid, the first few I think I did accidentally rip the flipperama pages, but when I got used to it, I could do it fine. And I actually really enjoy that feature, the fliperamas. That was a really cool feature of those books. And one thing that will show that I've had this one longer than the others is the colours have started to fade on it. So, if I show it with the others, you see where it says collector's edition, that's meant to be yellow, but the yellow's kind of faded on the collector's edition on that. And also here, when you have the Scholastic logo, it's meant to be red, obviously, but this one, well, it's gone white and you can't really see it at all, really. So Yeah. Alright, now I'll show a DVD. This is the only DVD in this update, but I got Series 6 of Cannon and Ball. Yes, so, you know, Tommy Cannon, I got to see him live at the last Talking Pictures show that I went to, and I got to meet him afterwards. You know, the interview, he seemed like a nice guy, you know, in the interview, and also when I met him afterwards. And the main reason I got this series in particular, the 6th series, is because this one has a sketch in it with Rick Mayall. Now, I have seen that before. I have seen the skit on YouTube. I've seen the sketch before on YouTube, and I've also seen the full episode before on YouTube. Somebody uploaded the full thing. But it was nice to have it on DVD. And even though I mainly got it for the Rick Mayall sketch, I actually did end up enjoying quite a lot of the other sketches on here. You know, him and Bobby Ball, you know, they work really well off each other, you know. Tommy Cannon, obviously he's still alive since I met him last year, but Bobby Ball, he passed away a few years ago, so yeah, but the two of them were just really great together. And you know, I looked through the reviews on Amazon when I ordered this. Somebody else said that they mainly got it because of Rick Mayall, but they said, like, even though I got it mainly because of Rick, I have to admit, you know, Tommy and Bobby were still great together. So yeah, I mean, I think Cannon and Ball as a duo, that they weren't quite as highly regarded as, say, Morecambe and Wise or the two Ronnies, but were still pretty popular back in their day, and I think they're pretty entertaining together. And yeah, and on the back here, you know, I said Rick Mayall was in one of the sketches, and here it does list some of the people who, you know, are guests in this series, in Series 6. So the guest stars include Engelbert Humperdinck, yes, really, Sister Sledge, Jimmy Tarbuck, Rick Mayall, the legend, the Beverly Sisters, Richard Clayderman, Big Country, Paul Young, the Flying Pickets, and the Cockney legends Chaz and Dave, which Chaz is Chaz Hodges' daughter, Kate Garner. She's been at Talking Pictures events before, and she currently has her own show on Talking Pictures TV called The Stories Behind the Songs, which I really enjoy as well. Another thing about this Cannon and Ball DVD, which I forgot to mention before, but I think it's worth mentioning, is that it's rated E for exempt from classification, which is kind of interesting because, like, that's a very rare rating in the UK, and it's mostly only given to, like, documentary stuff, although even then a lot of documentary stuff does get ratings over here. So yeah, it's kind of interesting they give an E for exempt rating to, you know, this, which is a comedy sketch, like, variety show, when it's, you know, that rating is usually given to documentary stuff. Now on to the Blu-rays. First I'll show I got the live-action Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper. So yes, yeah, this is a very weird movie, and it's kind of a cult movie now. You know, I wouldn't say I'm, like, part of the big cult following that it has. I'm not, like, the biggest fan of this movie, but I mean, it is kind of interesting because it's such a strange and bizarre movie, and it was interesting getting this because I know there is a new documentary that was made for this. I mean, it's not super new, it's like over 10 years old now. I mean, to show you, like, how old it is, the documentary was filmed, like, right after Bob Hoskins died, because they do, like, mention that in the documentary, and they pay tribute to him. They do mention that, you know, he hated this movie and said it was the worst thing he ever did, but, you know, it's still nice for them to do a tribute to him, even if he hated this movie. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed that documentary that they have on this Blu-ray, so I'm very happy to get it for that. You know, it has a black case for whatever reason. Yeah, but this is a really nice release, honestly. So it has the new documentary, but also it has a vintage, like, behind-the-scenes featurette from the 90s when this movie was new. But yeah, I can understand both sides. Like, I wouldn't say I'm part of the cult following, and I don't hate this movie, honestly, but I can see why people would think both ways. Like, I can understand why it has a cult following because it's such a strange movie and that appeals to a lot of people, but I can also understand people thinking it's not that good of a movie. I mean, yeah, even I think it is a bit of a mess, but in a way I think it can be kind of entertaining because it's such a mess, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is one that, I mean, I do kind of like in its weirdness, but yeah, I'm not like the biggest fan of it. Next, I'll show another kind of strange movie, but this one I didn't quite know what to think of it. It's based on a TV show that I do really like. This is Rob Zombie's Monsters movie. Now, the TV show I really do like, but this one, like, it's very strange. I mean, I guess you can kind of tell because Rob Zombie is a big fan of the show. In a way, you can see that it's made by someone who's a big fan of the show because it does have a lot of references to the TV show, but it also just doesn't really have the same tone or feel as the TV show. So it's kind of strange that it's made by such a huge fan. I know Daniel Roebuck, who plays the Count. He's not even called Grandpa in this. He's just called the Count because they don't even have Eddie in this. Yeah, I know he's a big fan of the show as well, and he actually did comment on something I put on Facebook in a Monsters fan group. I posted something about like how I'd been to the Phil Silvers Museum because they had a picture of Herman Munster on the wall there, and yeah, I posted that, and he said he'd be interested in like maybe visiting the museum one day because he's also an admirer of Phil Silvers, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, he was kind of entertaining, you know, but it's just very strange. I mean, I understand, like, Fred Gwynne, who was the original Herman Munster, he had a very unique way of playing. He had a very unique, like, the performance of Herman Munster was very unique. I know it would be hard for another actor to mimic that, but I don't really understand what Jeff Daniel Phillips is doing in this movie. I mean, it doesn't really seem much like Fred Gwynne. And yeah, it's a very strange movie. But, I mean, in a way, I can't say I completely hated this. I mean, I said before, this movie's very strange as well. But this one, at least, was more entertaining in its strangeness. This one, I didn't quite know what to think of it, but I mean, in some ways, I kind of appreciate it being a fan of the show, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to a Monsters movie, I prefer the movie that they did in the 60s, which was called Monster Go Home. I do have that on Blu-ray as well. That one was a good film, but yeah, this is, I don't know what to make of it, kind of. Part of the reason I wanted the Blu-ray is because it does have a commentary on it by Rob Zombie, and it does have the making of it. You know, I bought it knowing it was going to be a very strange film. So I thought, like, with strange films, it's kind of interesting to look at the behind the scenes stuff or listen to the commentaries to think, like, you know, what were they thinking when making it? So yeah, I probably will check that out. But I mean, I'm not in a rush to rewatch it soon. You know, I'll check out the commentary, but I'm not in a rush to rewatch it soon because the movie was a bit boring. But yeah, so that was The Monsters by Rob Zombie. And finally, I'll show this. This is a great movie. I watched this before on Netflix, and it's Godzilla -1. Yes, this is the first Godzilla movie to ever win an Oscar, actually. Yeah, it's amazing. In its 70 years of, you know, the Godzilla franchise, it never won an Oscar until this movie. So, yeah, you got to respect this movie for that. But I watched it on Netflix. I watched the color version. I know there is a black and white one called Godzilla minus color. That one also did get a limited theatrical release. I haven't gone around to watch the black and white one yet. I heard it's not just they turned the color off, it's also they changed like some of the lighting a bit to make it look better in black and white. That one I'm interested in checking out. I think it's still on Netflix, I'm not sure. I only got around to watching the color version when it was on Netflix. I didn't watch that. Unfortunately, I think with physical media, the black and white version is only on like the version that's like really expensive. But yeah, I'm happy to have this if I ever want to watch the color version again. You know, I'll probably, next time I watch it, I might watch the black and white version if it's still on Netflix. But if I ever want to watch the color version again, I've got a nice Blu-ray of it. And yeah, I mean, I do enjoy like the sillier, more campy Godzilla movies as well, don't get me wrong, but I do also appreciate the fact that this brought Godzilla back to being more, I guess, I mean, this is a more realistic movie, but also a more serious movie. you know, I like the sillier ones as well, but yeah, I think this is a very good serious Godzilla movie, and I did like that scene there, you know, and obviously it's taking a lot of influence from Jaws there, which is ironic because Jaws took a lot of influence from Godzilla, so yeah, really good film. Definitely do check it out if you like this sort of, you know, monster movies. It's definitely one I would recommend. And yeah, I'm very happy to have it on Blu-ray. Yeah, this took forever to come out on Blu-ray. You know, it took forever for it to even come out on Netflix, honestly. I didn't get to see it in the cinema, but yeah, I'm glad it's finally on Blu-ray. I'm glad I did get to watch it on Netflix as well. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You could tell me in the comments if you like any of the stuff that I showed in this update video, or you could tell me, you know, what have you bought recently? I'd love to hear that. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching this video. Stay tuned for next time, guys. Bye.